So right here we have the radical symbol. And right here we have the radicand. Now, the radical symbol, square root. What does that mean? If I square root something, what am I doing? I'm breaking it apart, but specifically, whenever you break it apart, you have to, you're trying to figure out what number it does what with. Multiplies by itself with, right? So, there are some rules for radicals. The first one is that the radicand has no perfect squares left. And I'll explain what perfect squares are in just a minute. The radicand can also have no decimals. We are giving exact answers when we use simplifying radicals, and decimals are not exact. Because you round, you're doing an approximation. Last but not least, there is no radical in the denominator. When we start dividing and having fractions, you cannot have a radical in the denominator. Now let's go back to our perfect square numbers. What are our perfect square numbers? And I think I might have had you do this at the beginning of the year, but I'm not sure. 1 is a perfect square number because what's 1 times 1? 1. 2 squared, or 2 times 2? 4. 3 squared, or 3 times 3? 4 squared? Write this down, please. It's going to help you later. 5 squared? 6 squared? 7 squared? 8 squared? 9 squared? 10 squared? 11 squared? And 12 squared. If you know the ones after this, that's great, but these ones I need you to have memorized. Okay? So, if we were doing that square root of 288, we would do a tree, and we would be there forever. Instead, what we are going to be doing is we are going to look which one of these numbers, biggest number, is divisible by 288. 144. Do you agree? Just look up. Don't write down. Just look up. Do you agree that 288 is 144 times 2? Everybody in here agree? Look up. I'm going to separate these. And what is the square root of 144? This answer is 12 square roots of 2. I'm done. Do you agree that was significantly faster than doing a tree? Okay? This is how I am going to simplify radicals. Again, if you default and want to do the tree, I have no issues with it. Just be careful of your time. Today we're going to practice like this. Okay? All right. So, if you can please look at 75. Which one of these numbers divides by 75 and gives me a pretty number? 25 times what? So I'm going to do the square root of 25 times the square root of 3. What is the square root of 25? So my answer is 5 square root 3. What questions do I have? $45. What about 45? 9. 9 times what? 9 times 5. The square root of 9 times the square root of 5. And what is the square root of 9? Can you do the last one on your own? Okay. Be careful. There are two numbers up there. Actually, three. But there are two numbers up there that divide by 200. What are they? 25 as well as what? 100. Which one do I choose? Do the biggest number. So, although you're right, I saw some of y'all writing 25 times, I think, 8. Although you're right, if you wrote 25 times 8, that is 200. That's not my answer because it's going to leave me with a perfect square if I do that in the radical. So, what number am I going to use? 100 times the square root of 2. What is the square root of 100? So 10 square roots of 2 is my answer. Are we okay with this? All right. So what I would like you to now do is get the paper I just handed you. Let's do number 1 together. Oh, I just ignored y'all completely. My bad. Who's missing? Quentin? Who pointed out to me?
I think we got theirs.
Oh. I don't know. I'm a mess. Sorry. They got it twice. Okay. Y'all are good. You're good. Okay. Square root of 48. What perfect square? And so let me just show y'all real quick. If you don't know how to do this, start at the number closest to 48. So 49 is too big. I'm going to start at 36. And just divide. 48 divided by 36. Nope, not a pretty number. 48 divided by 25. Nope, not a pretty number. 48 divided by 16. Oh, it's a pretty number. So some of y'all are going to be like, I don't need to do that. I already know 36 and 25 don't work. Great. But if you don't know, just go start at the bottom, the closest number to it, and then work your way up. So 48 is what? Square root of 16 times the square root of 3. What is the square root of 16? 4 comes out of the house, and it's just 4 square root of 3. I would like you to do numbers 1 through 6. Go. By the way, I'm giving you the odd answers. They're also at the back if you want to check. But even answers or even problems are going to be for a grade due Monday. Make sure you're showing work in case you did it wrong. I can give you partial credit that way. If you show no work, you get it wrong, you just get no. Now, if you're not done with 1 through 6, that's okay. Put it to the side. You'll have time a little bit later to do more. All right, I want you to go back to your notes. Go back to your notes. Now, example 2 has these problems right here. These have a number out front. That's called a coefficient. If there's a coefficient out front, you just do the same thing but bring it down. So, I'm going to bring down the 5. What perfect square does 18 divide by? 9 times 2. What is the square root of 9? So what's this going to become? 5 times 3 is 15. Square root of 2 is my answer. Does that make sense? What about 150? So if you don't know, you can just start at 150. Does it divide by 144? No. 121? No. 100? No. You can, and again, some of y'all are like, Ms. Olivars, I know it doesn't divide by 64. Just check. And if you know, then that's fine too. 150 divided by 49, 150 divided by 36, 150 divided by 25 is, oh, oops. Well, it wouldn't have worked anyways. All right, so this is 2 times 25 times 6. And what is the square root of 25? Which gives me and that's my answer. I was told also y'all learned how to do this last year in Desmos. You will not be getting Desmos for this test, which is why I don't want you to rely on that. All right, this method is gonna surefire way to do it every time. Okay. Open up your notes once you've written this down. Next, we're going to be multiplying radicals. Now, for multiplying radicals, you multiply the like things. So the coefficients are going to multiply with the coefficients. Radicands will multiply with radicands. So for this one, outside numbers, coefficients are what? 2 times 4. Radicands are 3 times 5. And I'm just showing this step for purpose of notes. I would be fine if you just straight up multiply them. What's 2 times 4? 3 times 5. Can I keep going with the square root of 15? Does this divide by a perfect square? No. Not 16, not 9, not 4. 1 is the only one. If it's just 1, you're done. We're done. What about the next one? What is 4 times 9? Can I simplify this? Hey, what's the square root of 36? This just becomes 6, which is 18. So if it is a perfect square, you just write that number. The square root of 36 is 6. You need to have your perfect squares and your square roots memorized. Okay, I want you to try this last one on your own. Go. Alright, did y'all get 12 square roots of 12 when you multiplied them? If you box 12 square roots of 12, that's going to be points off because you can keep going. What perfect square can I divide 12 by? 4. So this becomes square root of 4 times square root of 3. Do you agree 4 times 3 is 12? What's the square root of 4? And what is 12 times 2? This is 24 square root of 3. Alright. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to work on 7 through 13. You probably won't finish them all. But work on 7 through 13. If you finish those, the odd answers are on the back if you want to check yourself. Correct. Do I have any questions on 7 or 9? Number 7. So this one's a little weird because you get 12. 6 and 2, when you multiply them, you get 12. But then you have to think, what number can I divide? What perfect number can I divide by 12? 4. So then you get 4 and 3. And what's the square root of 4? 2. So a lot of people get confused because they're like, well, you already gave us 2. I need to break it down into 2 again. Yeah. 2 different numbers though. And then number 9 gave us 48. That's kind of like number 1. Any questions? All right, here is 11 and 13. 11, you get just 30. Multiply your coefficients, you get 10. Multiply your radicands, you get 9. What is the square root of 9? 3. So it's 10 times 3, which is 30. 13 is multiply your coefficients. 25, multiply your radicands. 4, what's the square root of 4? You get 50. It's not always going to work out that way. These two just happen to work out that way. All right? Okay. Go back to your notes. We are now going to do this side up top. We'll come back to the dividing in a second. Squaring radicals. What do we know about the square root symbol and the squared symbol? Hey, they cancel. So what is the square root of 15 squared? It's just 15. You're done. What about the square root of 10 squared? It's just 10. And the square root of 1,254 squared? 1,254. Xavier and David, are y'all with me? Okay. Now, this next one, a lot of people get wrong. Because y'all like to square root of 5 squared is 5 times 2 is 10. That's wrong. You have to distribute the squared to both of them. So it's going to become 2 squared square root of 5 squared. What is 2 squared?
4.
Square root of 5 squared.
5.
And what's 4 times 5?
20.
20. Because those cancel. I'm going to give you a couple minutes. I would like you can now do 14 through 18. 14 through 18. Or keep going if you didn't finish the others. Because they cancel each other out. Like right here, the squared and the square root, they're opposites. They cancel each other out. They just go away.
Oh, okay.
Yep. 18. Y'all can actually do through 21. Be careful that when you're squaring them, you are multiplying it by itself, not by 2. Here's the answer to 15 and 17. Yeah, that's like everybody does that. Yeah, a lot of people are doing that. Common mistake. Number 19, I want to go over with everyone real quick. So can y'all please turn over to 19? Because it's actually a lot easier than it looks. It looks kind of crazy. Look real quick. Look up. 19, do you agree we multiply the outside, multiply the inside? 21 times 21 is like 441. Okay? It's actually not helpful. So do you agree I'm multiplying something by itself? Instead of multiplying it in my calculator, do you agree I could just write 21 squared? And what do I know about the square root of 21 squared? It cancels out. So this is just 3 times 21. That one's a little weird, right? It's definitely weird. All right. We're now going to start dividing and dealing with fractions. So if you're not all the way to 19, don't worry about it. Just put your homework to the side. Look, y'all are going to be like, basically not have homework tonight. Dividing radicals. All right. With dividing radicals, it's kind of like multiplying. Divide the coefficients, divide the radicands. Divide the outside, divide the inside. What is 6 divided by 3? What is 8 divided by 2? Can I simplify this any more? What's the square root of 4?
2.
So 2 times 2 is 4. Right, Xavier? My next one. Divide the coefficients. -9 divided by 3. 42 divided by 7. Can I simplify that out? No, it's done. You're done. We like those. All right, this next one. Don't get scared just because there's a letter. 108 divided by 3. It's 36. What happens to my x's? They cancel. And what happens to the y? It's just there. I am going to separate them. What is the square root of 36? So this answer is 6 square root of y. Okay? Now, this next one has stars. This is going to be what a bonus question would look like on your test. If you look at the black paper, the homework paper, do you see that they have stars on these? These are bonus questions. They're extra credit. I'm never going to give this to you on a quiz unless it's going to be extra credit, okay? But let's do it anyways. For this one right here, what is 60 divided by 15? 4. Square root. Don't forget your square root sign. What happens with my x's? What about my y's? Say it again. You subtract them, and 5 minus 2 is 3. Does everybody in here see and agree with how I did this problem? If I were to write out 5 y's on the top and 2 y's on the bottom, you cross them out, we're left with 3. Now, I am going to separate this, but watch. When I separate this, I'm going to separate with y squared and a y, because I have 2 y's and then there's my third y. And you'll see why in just a second. Too many y's. What is the square root of 4?
2.
What is the square root of y squared?
Y.
It cancels, it's just y. And then we leave it the square root of y. Did that make sense? I hope I presented it in a way that made sense. So again, divide them out and then separate them. We're going to do more with the letters in just a little bit. All right? Can I go on to rationalize? Yes. The last one? Okay. So, last part is rationalizing. When you're dividing fractions, you are not allowed, we wrote it on the front, you are not allowed to have a radical in the denominator. So if you look at this first example, 6 square root of 11, do you see how that square root is in the denominator? It's not allowed. It's illegal in math. You will get points off if you leave it a radical in the denominator. So we're going to do something called rationalizing. And what rationalizing does is it gets rid of that radical. So everybody look up. To rationalize this, I am going to multiply it by itself. I'm going to multiply it by square root of 11. However, if I do that to the denominator, you have to do it to the numerator. What is going to be left up top? 6 square root of 11. Do not multiply those and get 66 because one's not in a radical and one is in a radical. What's going to be left on bottom? Why? What is 11 times 11? 121 or 11 squared. And what is the square root of 11 squared? When you rationalize, this number that's in the radicand should always just be the number on the bottom. And y'all, we're done. You want to do it again? Okay. I'm actually going to make, because I wish there was another one before we get to the coefficients, I'm going to make one like right here, a fourth one. 6 over square root of 2. Again, I have a radical in the denominator. What do I have to do? I'm going to rationalize by multiplying it by itself and the numerator. What is that going to give me? Over 2. The top becomes 6 square root of 2. The bottom, 2 times 2 is? The square root of 4 is? 2. However, we're not done. Y'all, what is 6 divided by 2? So this answer is 3 square root of 2. And we no longer have radicals in the denominator. Do you want to try the next one on your own, or you want me to do it with you? Try it. Try it. Let's see. Up top, this one. Just try it. Rationalize. If anything, rationalize. Get rid of that radical in the bottom. What do you think is going to be up top? Jason? Yeah. And you can just tell me, what is 7 times 3? 21, yeah. No root. Just 3. Perfect. Did everybody get that when they rationalized? However, oh look, what's 6 divided by 3? They're both coefficients, you can reduce them. So this is 2 square root of 21. Now we're lucky 21 cannot be simplified. It doesn't divide by a perfect square. But like if that was 20, you would have to keep going. Yeah. Okay. Last but not least. I don't particularly like this question, but I'm going to do it anyways. Before I do that, actually, can y'all make a little, I'm going to just like do a little side. At the bottom, can you make like a little extra part? We already did this, but I want to just do it again. If I have the square root of x squared, what did we say that was? just x. Do y'all agree? They cancel? Okay. What if I had the square root of x to the third? Split them off. I would get x squared and x, which gives me x root x. What if I had the square root of x to the fourth? The square root of x squared, the square root of x squared, which is x times x, which is x squared. What if I had the square root of x to the 10th? The square root of x squared, 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 which would be x to the 5. You just divide by 2. If it's an even number, you just divide by 2. What would be x to the 12th? The square root of x to the 12th. X to the 6th. What about x to the square root of x to the 100th? X to the 50. You just divide by 2. But what if it's an odd number? The square root of x to the 17. What's the even number in front of it? 16 square root of x. Well, what's x to the 16th going to be? X to the 8th square root x. So even numbers, you just divide them by 2. The odd number, go one below it, divided by 2, and then you just have a square root left over. Does that make sense? So for this one right here, that's kind of what we're going to do. All right? Before I rationalize, this is dividing and rationalizing together. Divide this out, and what are we going to get? What's 7 divided by 14? 1/2. So I'm going to get 1 over the square root of 1 over the square root of 2. And what about my x's? X to the power of 5 up top. Does everybody see how I just got that? I'm subtracting. I have 6 on top, 1 on bottom, so I subtract. Can I have a radical in the denominator? I'm going to rationalize. Times square root of 2 times square root of 2. And that's going to give me 2x to the 5th over 2. What is x to the 5th going to become? X4 and an x by itself, which becomes what? Again, this will be a bonus question if you see it. It is weird. I understand that. I don't want you to focus. Like if you understood everything else we did today and you didn't understand, that's fine. Okay? This will be extra credit every single time. You should have finished the front, so all you should have to do is the back evens for homework. I recommend you do the odds for extra practice, especially if you're struggling. Remember to always divide first, then rationalize. Because if you try to rationalize first, then you're going to get some big numbers. Divide first, then rationalize, if you need to. All right. I hope to see you on Monday, or do I? No matter what, this evens is due when I see you again. Whether that's Monday or Tuesday, evens are due when I see you.